Hi, this video is a recording of a crowdcast that I did with Kenniqua, who walks us through how to use HoneyBook for web designers. I learned a ton in this webinar, so I'm going to focus more on automations to make my life easier. I'm also going to implement some of the customizations Kenniqua shows us. Stick around to the end. There are some really good questions about how to use HoneyBook with Gmail and a lot more. So I hope you find a great nugget in here for your business, and I wish you all the best.
Today, what we're going to talk about is how you can actually go through and leverage HoneyBook to be able to streamline your website design business. All right, so today we're going to talk about, I'm going to introduce you guys to using HoneyBook or to HoneyBook for those of you that may not even be familiar about what HoneyBook even is, some of the key features, the benefits of using HoneyBook as a website designer. I'm going to jump into HoneyBook as well too, into my demo account, and I'm going to show you like a couple of features that they do have that I think would be awesome for you going through and streamlining your businesses. And we're going to talk about pricing and then answer some questions here at the end. So just a little bit about me. We offer website design services like much of you, as well as we do offer HoneyBook setups. And I do have a YouTube channel, like Christine mentioned, where I do share some of this content as well, from website videos to also HoneyBook tutorials as well, which I'll be adding a ton more of those too. So if there's a particular thing that we don't cover in this session, you may be able to go to the YouTube channel and find it. If not, it will be there soon. So, what exactly is HoneyBook? Just in case you did not know, HoneyBook is pretty much the leading client flow platform for independent professionals. So, it provides the tools that you need in order to be able to go through and manage inquiries, doing legal contracts, scheduling, doing payments, contracts, all of that goodness. You can do all of that right inside of HoneyBook. So before I was using HoneyBook, just to kind of give you guys like a glimpse of what I was particularly doing for my business, is that I was piecing multiple systems together. So I had one system that I was using for invoicing. So like I would use Stripe and Square, and I was using another system that I was doing for scheduling. So I was using Acuity scheduling to kind of get that done. And then I was going through and using Canva, creating like a Canva brochure and sending that out manually via email, as well as like for our welcome letters. Of course, we were using like our Gmail. I had a lot of different systems going up. Like I had a portal on our website. So like on our portal that we use for our website was really just like a lock screen that we used on our Squarespace website. And then again, manually sending out emails and just doing a whole bunch of things that was wasting a lot of precious time. So when I started to go through and figured out, okay, there's has to be like a better way for me to be able to do all this because I'm doing entirely too much and I'm wasting a whole bunch of time. And then also what it does is it was causing us to be able to go through and you lose leads in the process. So I started finding HoneyBook. So I stumbled across using HoneyBook. It was really for me a difference, like when I was doing my searching, like okay, HoneyBook and Dubsado. The reason why I personally kind of went through and chose HoneyBook because I found that it was a little bit simpler to kind of just get in there and start using versus Dubsado was a little bit more, it just had a little bit more going on, and I didn't have time to go through and look at tutorials and all of this and try to learn how to do it. So I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and try to jump in and start using HoneyBook. So I found it very easy to begin using. And what I was able to do is I was able to consolidate everything that I had from contracts, invoicing, payments, all into this one system, and that I can map out a client flow for our clients and our customers right inside of HoneyBook. It also allowed for us to be able to book clients faster because what I did was I used a contact form from HoneyBook and I embedded that inside of our Squarespace website. So instead of just having like the Squarespace contact form and having that kind of go the way that it was going, I used HoneyBook where it would automatically put the leads inside my HoneyBook accounts and I can connect automation and things like that to actually help get this process streamlined a little bit better, even though before I was using some type of automation through like Zapier, it was still very pieced together. Another thing too, it helped me to feel like a little bit more professional and confident in how I was able to go through and present to other businesses because now I have something that is branded. Our HoneyBook accounts, our brochures that we go through and create, they actually match the design of our website. So it had more of a branded feel to it versus what I was doing and piecing everything together. And then again, it helped me to be able to go through and save time and help me minimize my effort through creating automation and templates, which I'm going to show you where you could find that, how to do that, as well as I have a free template for you if you want to use it. So some of the key features that I love about using HoneyBook is their workflow automation. So now with HoneyBook, because they have come up with so many in the last few months, they have added in a lot of brand new features that not only can you set up your project flow, but now you can even automate and really customize what you see in that client flow. Like before, there were sections that you could not delete. Now you can. You can fully customize it. And then you can also automate things based off of where they are in the flow and when they change stages in the flow. I also like the project tracking, which is part of that as well too, where you can go through and track basically each part of your project from inquiry to going through and seeing who actually made payments, signed contracts, things of that nature. The invoicing and payments. So the invoicing and payments, everything can be done all into this one system. So you're not having to use an external system to be able to go through and send out those proposals. You can literally send out a proposal, an invoice, and have them pay all in one go, all in one document by using a smart file, just combining all of those things with one click. So it really makes it easy for you to be able to get paid faster and to book your clients faster as well too. And you can set up automatic payments. So typically, depending on the project, we would typically set up automatic payments on each one of those invoices where the client, because we do break our payments up in either half or in 33%. So they can go through and they can auto pay. So they can set that card up and then it automatically drafts on the due date. But you can also have your due date set based off different key points in the project. And I'll show you guys that here in a second. Then you have your proposals, your contracts, and agreements. Again, those are all things that you can add into one smart file. And that is, you can customize them. You can take your contracts that you have now and even put those into HoneyBook to be able to have all your documents. So pretty much all of your forms and documents that you have, you can go through and put those inside of HoneyBook where you're not having to go through and, redo anything really all that much. And then client management. So the client management as well, every point of contact that you have with your client, you can manage each and every point from communication to them uploading documents to them to you and vice versa. Going through and scheduling calls with them, website calls, booking calls, all of that, discovery calls. You could do all of that through there. And then their integration. So they integrate with a lot of other tools and systems that you may already be using, which I will show you. So benefits for website designers, and I kind of already covered a lot of this, but a couple of the benefits, of course, are going to be time saving. This is going to save you a lot of time, especially if you don't already have a system in place that you're using to be able to really narrow down like your client flow, your workflow. This is going to allow you to be able to streamline all of your administrative tasks and for you to actually be able to focus on your creative work. And you don't have to worry about doing the admin work because a lot of us don't like to do the admin work. It also allows you to be able to appear professional. So it enhances basically the professionalism of the designer client relationship. It looks like when someone comes to you that, okay, you have everything, you have all your ducks in a row. Like the process is seamless. You have everything laid out for them. They're getting these automated emails, your brands, everything is branded, your proposals, your contracts, your communication, everything is branded to a T and it fits your business. You also have the financial management. So inside of HoneyBook, it has, and they've even enhanced this even more, but it allows for you to be able to go through and view your reports of how much money each project has actually made you. So you can go through each one of your clients and it will show you on a tab on the side how much money you made from that project. So that lets you know too of what maybe you might have to be able to upsell to that particular client, right? Because you know how valuable that project is to you and what you may be able to offer them next. You can see that also, of course, through invoicing. payment tracking, and even expense tracking. You can do all of that, even with their integrations with QuickBooks. That will even enhance it even more if you need more than what HoneyBook has to offer as far as their finance portion. And then improved communication. So you have a centralized communication hub for you and for your clients. So this is going to be keeping you from misunderstandings about particular contracts, collaborations, projects, anything like that. It's all in one place. So there is a paper trail of everything that's going on. Your client does have a portal, which they now have enhanced that portal to make it easier for clients to be able to log in. It's been enhanced where they can log in a little bit easier. Before it was a little bit more difficult for people to know how to log in just because they had to go through and request like a password reset and all of this goodness. It was a lot, but they've actually gone through and simplified that where they get a magic link where they can click to get a magic link to sign in, and they can literally view everything about their project right inside of their activity, the forms they filled out, the contracts that they signed, the even timelines, anything that you want to put in there, they can actually go through and see that inside of there. And then scalability. So HoneyBook can scale with your business as it grows, accommodating more clients and projects. If you have team members, you can also add your team members to your HoneyBook account dependent on the plan that you're on. You can add and select that middle plan, which we'll talk about plans, but that middle plan will allow you to be able to have 2 members. And then if you can have unlimited members on the higher up plan, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go through, I'm going to stop sharing this screen. I'm going to pull this over. I'm going to hop into really quickly my demo accounts. And I just want to make sure I didn't have any questions. Okay, Tiny Design says finds important to be able to track emails sent from within the CRM system for later review. Yes, absolutely. I find that very, very important as well. Let me stop sharing this screen and I'm not sure. Okay. So you guys should be able to see it. Okay, just let me know inside the chat that you can see. This is inside of our demo account here. Just let me know that you can see inside of this account. Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, so this is inside of HoneyBook just to kind of give you an overview of what it looks like. This is our demo account. So for the most part, everything in this account should pretty much mirror what your account looks like. I know our main account has a couple other features that maybe you might not have, but this account, it should mirror what you have on inside of your account. So this has recently changed here. So this here is HoneyBook's home page. So your account should pretty much look similar to this one here. So this is something they recently changed within the last year. And I like this layout. They actually have added where everything is pretty much right here on this home screen to make it easier for you to be able to locate it. So what you have here is you have your section here where you can automatically log into your HoneyBook account and you can see the new leads that came in. You can see unread messages, or if there are any tasks that have been assigned to you or any tasks that are coming up for the projects, and the amount of the bookings that you have got during this year. You also have your lead section here. So your leads, once there's leads in here, you will have leads in this particular section. You can also start a lead form, which we'll talk about in a second, but you can start a lead form here. So if you need to create like a brand new lead form, and I'll tell you the difference between a lead form and a contact form. You have a calendar here. So this is any type of events that are coming up. If you have this synced to your Google Calendar, your Google Calendar events will also appear here as well. You can also start a new project here. So you can do new clients, new project, new invoice, new contract. So if you're starting anything that's new and you want to do this directly from the home screen, you most certainly can. Of course, in these other sections here, which we will go over, you will be able to go through and start those projects from there. But I like the way this home screen, how they've laid this out, because now you're not having to go through projects or go through your scheduler to be able to see those particular tabs, to be able to see what's going on. You can see what's going on all from your home page. You also have your activities. So all the activity, like these are of course all test projects for every time I do these sessions, but you have your activities. So any type of activities coming up, if you have any like contracts that need to be signed, projects, anything that has any activity is going to show up in this activity feed here. Any unread messages is going to be here. So like for example, if someone sends you a message and responds back to you through HoneyBook, that you sent to them, those messages will be seen here. So now, again, it makes it easier for you to be able to go through and see everything that's going on. Payments, any tasks that you have assigned to yourself. You can see any type of templates that you have inside of your HoneyBook account. You can see everything. Now, what I would recommend to you, even going down here towards this bottom, there are a lot of helpful links that will also help you with HoneyBook. But one of the ones that they just recently launched this year is their community tab. So if you're not involved in their community, I would say just get inside of there by just clicking on this button here. Okay. So this is pretty much the overview of your home screen. Okay. So this is going to be gold when you're going through and using your account. Now, when you go through and you use HoneyBook, so like if you're like, okay, I want to give HoneyBook a try, and Christy does have a link for you to be able to give HoneyBook a try. One of the things I recommend is for you to go through and fully set up your account. So you have your section here, like if you click on your profile picture here, you would be able to go to my account. Make sure you have everything set up here from your phone number, your account, your job title. All of this information is actually filled out. HoneyBook has also just created this within the last few months, which is the out of office settings. Like we used to have to do a workaround for this. Like we used to have to create like an automation for this, but now you don't have to do this. So now you do have the option of even doing an out of office setting. So if you're going out on break or whatever, you can go through and you can customize this, put your subject line, edit the message, when you're going out from, when you're going to actually be returning, and all of your inquiries that are coming in, they will be held until you come back. And then once you turn this back on, or when this date, actually this return date comes, then all the activity that came through while you were gone, HoneyBook is basically going to send you like a digest of all of the activity. Okay. So you don't have to search around to see, okay, what happened while I was gone. You're going to get this list of everything that came through while you were gone, which is pretty cool. Now you go to your company tab. So under your company tab is the next thing that I recommend that you do. Okay. Christine said, I had no idea HoneyBook had an out of office. Yeah, they just released out of office, just like maybe 2 months ago, which is pretty cool. Because like I said, it was a whole deal to do out of office before. All right, so under your company tab, this is where you go through and you put in again what your company type is, your phone numbers, and this is where you can go through and customize everything about your company and add in like your images, your logo, your button colors. This is where you can go through and customize this. Even if there are times where you want to change these things, like in a particular document, there is a way to do that, which I will show you there then in a little bit. But this is where pretty much all your branding assets lie. So this is where you can customize your theme, where you can change your fonts and your brand colors, your email signature that you want to have. You can update that. You can also go through and put in any of your social media links, your address, etc. So like the address that you have here is what's going to show up on your invoices that you have or any other documents that you want to add that to. You have your preferences. So this is a lot of preferences that you do have. I recommend going through these preferences when you're first starting up your HoneyBook account, but just a couple of things to really point out to you. So you have your lead sources. Your lead sources is pretty much basically what it is. It's basically where your lead's coming from. There are certain ones that are already set here, but you can go through and you can add in different sources. So you just type in whatever you want to add, just click add, and it will add it for you. So when someone goes through and fills out a contact form, like an inquiry form, which we'll go over in a second, but when someone goes through and fills that out, they can actually go through and select where that lead comes from. HoneyBook also helps you keep track of where your leads are coming from. So that will help you to be able to kind of know where your leads are coming from so you can double down on that. So if you find that a lot of your leads are coming from Instagram, then you know that, hey, I need to be doing more Instagram, right? Your project details. So this project details, this I don't use as much. It just depends on what you're going to be using it for. But these are certain things that are actually basically built in for you. So like your project name, project type, date, location, about project. So this is basically like if you have like set details where you want to, I don't really use this one as much. I don't think that you probably would use this as much, but you can decide if you are. Your project types. Now, this is something that I do recommend, especially if you are offering multiple service offerings and that maybe are not related. So let me give you an example. And this makeup option is what we used on the last time I did this demo. So what you could do is, so for example, like with my business, we offer business consulting, system setups, and website design, right? So on each one of these, you can add in these different service offerings that you have, and you can have this question basically, hey, what project are you interested in on your contact form? This is where, if you want to take automation up to another level, this is where you putting in these project types are going to be helpful if you have different project types or different service offerings. Because on your form, on your contact form or your inquiry form, when someone enters, like, okay, I want to do business consulting, you can connect an automation to that particular service offering instead of connecting it to the overall form. So your overall form could have a automation connected to it. So like every time someone, so let's say you just offer website design, you can connect an automation to just that particular form itself, right? But if you have different automations, if you have different service offerings, so let's say you are offering, maybe I'm just trying to think of an example with websites. So maybe let's say you're offering website design, maybe full setups, but maybe you're offering coaching for website designers. So you don't necessarily want the same email that people who want full setups to go to them for people who want coaching. So maybe you want them to get two different automations. So that's where that will become helpful for you. Here is all your company notifications. So you just want to go through these, customize them to how you wish. This is how you want to be notified. These are the action notifications of what you want to be notified based off of what your clients do and don't do. So you can turn those on and turn those off as needed. They also have this SMS feature, which is new. This is just new within probably like the last month or so. That now with like the scheduler, so like when a client goes through and books like a discovery call with you, for example, now not only will they get that email notification, but if you have this turned on as well, that they will also get an SMS notification as well too, which is very helpful to keep them from forgetting. Your payment reminders, so you can go through and customize all of these payment reminders, what you want to do. And you can also, if you were to turn it on, you can edit what you want that email to look like. So HoneyBook has this template where it's showing you, hey, this is what this is going to look like. But if you want to make it more in your brand voice or make it more personable, you can go through and edit that as well. And this here, the default name format, this is basically just like the format for your templates. Normally we just have like the template name, but you can go through and customize, like if you want the project name plus the template name to show up as the default to like when your clients go through and open up the email, like what you wanted to say, you can do that. I really don't find that to be a really big deal, but that's what you can do. Also, under the settings, you have your domains. So you have your domain for basically your client portal. You can now go through and add a custom domain. So, like your company's subdomain, you can do that if you want. Otherwise, what you will have is whatever domain that you want to. You can customize this part here, but whatever domain you have, and then it'll be like .honeybook.portal.co. This is like the portal that your clients will go to log in. I personally don't really find it a big deal to use this versus creating a subdomain. I don't really find it to be a big deal because we just put this link on our website so clients can at least know that they can go from our website to logging in. I don't really find it a big deal, but it is helpful that you can customize it. And then you also have like your client portal. So this is of course that link I just went over for you. You can copy it here and you can customize this like I was telling you guys before, but not as much like if I click on customize. You can change the background color. You can put like show logo, don't show logo, company name, or you can do a custom name. But the customizations on this is very minimal, but but it pretty much works for what it works for. And that's their client portal. So these are things that I recommend. So like what I'm going over with you guys now is like your first steps of when you go through and you start using HoneyBook. Your integrations. So I talked about before about having integrations. If you use something like Gmail for your calendar, your email, I highly recommend that you go through and you connect this. Basically, what this does is this is going to connect your HoneyBook that when you're sending out emails from your HoneyBook account, that it's going to basically appear that they're coming from you and not from HoneyBook. Okay, so I highly recommend that you go through and connect that because otherwise people might not open those emails. Okay, so I would connect that. But there's other integrations that you have here, like your Zoom. So that would be helpful for your calendar. So like there is a scheduler so where people can book meetings with you. It would automatically send them the Zoom link. So when they book that meeting, that Zoom link will automatically be connected. So that's something that's helpful. Like I said, there's QuickBooks. There's even Calendly. So like they have that integration with Calendly. If you're like really like a Calendly lover and that's what you want to use, then you can connect that as well. You have like your project management tools. So you have Monday, you have Asana, you have your Slack. So the possibilities are endless. On top of, you can also do Zapier connections. So HoneyBook now is open up for Zapier connections. When I first started HoneyBook, they were not. I could not get HoneyBook to connect to anything else through Zapier, but now they are. So, like for example, we like to use Trello for our project management tool. So we have connected HoneyBook to Trello via Zapier. So, like when someone comes in, they book a project with us, and once it's booked, then it will automatically create a Trello board. It will actually make a copy of a Trello board template that we already have, so we can have that for the client. So, there's a lot of possibilities here with this. Again, you can add on team members. So, if you have team members that you would like to add to have access to certain projects that you're working on, you can do that. This, of course, membership level, bank details, these are things that you would just fill out for your bank details. Okay, so that's just a walkthrough of your company settings. You can let me know as we go through if you have any questions. I can definitely have you guys on the other screen. I could definitely answer any questions that you may have. So that's your first steps, like when you're going through and using HoneyBook. So inside of here, so you have your home, which is the home screen, which we went over. You have your projects. So maybe we'll do projects next. You have your projects. So inside of your projects, this is pretty much where you're able to go through and you're able to go through and put in your client flow. So what the process that your clients actually go through when they're going through and booking their projects with you. So like, for example, all your active projects are going to automatically pretty much land, well, not active projects, your inquiries will actually fall here when someone actually goes through and submits an inquiry via your website. You can go through and customize each one of these fields. So discovery call, proposal sent, contract, retainer paid. You can customize this by hitting this customize option, and you can customize any of these fields. So you can delete something that you don't need by hitting the trash can. You can click add a stage by just simply clicking add a stage, and you can, if I can type, you can put whatever that project is, that stages, and you can just drag it to wherever it is that you need to put it at and just hit save. And then the beauty of this is because now you can go through, which they recently just added, is that you can go through and you can customize this by going through, and this one should have it as well too. Yeah, here we go. You can go through now and you can manage your pipelines and what they do and where they go. So they automatically have it set for certain things. Like, so for example, new projects. So it tells you like your leads from contact, your lead and contact forms and manual entries automatically become projects and enter into a selected stage. So like, for example, this is automatically set for the inquiry stage, but maybe you want to put it somewhere else. You know, you can do that. You can now customize of where you want that to go. So you can move this anywhere. The first email sent. So when the first email is sent, where do you want that to go? Do you want it to go to follow up or do you need it to go somewhere else, right? So you have full range to be able to customize what they actually do. Like even payments sent. You can say payments sent, they need to go to this particular stage, or contract signed. You can move it wherever it is that you want to move it to. So, and have it automate, and not just you moving it, but it automatically being moved for you. You have your tools here. So I'm gonna go back under, okay, so tools. So under tools, you have a lot of different things that you can set, right? And you guys have probably already seen like the possibilities of, what you can use with this, like with your website design business. But you have like your tools. So you have your essentials, which are like your templates, which we'll go over, your library, which are things that you upload, automations, calendar, referring perks. Productivity, you have your integrations, which we talked about. Scheduler, you can click on tasks. Your time tracker. I don't use the time tracker through this really at all, but you can do that. I still track everything through Toggle, but you can track through here if you want to. Template gallery, you got your reports, payments, expenses, profit and loss. So all of these sections are your finance sections. And then you have your lead capture, which is your lead forms, contact forms, Chrome extension. The Chrome extension, I recommend that the Chrome extension is right up here at the top. I do recommend that you download the Chrome extension, because if you have someone that emails you that is inside of your HoneyBook account, it's going to show that this person is already inside of your HoneyBook account, even if they are emailing you from Gmail. And then you can easily put them into, like, if it's someone that's not, you can easily take an inquiry from email. Like if someone emails you and say, hey, I want to start a website design project, you can easily add this person to your HoneyBook account with one click if you have the Chrome extension. So it's some benefits to it. Not something I use all the time, but it's definitely some benefits to it. Batch emails. So you can also do batch emails through here as well. Now, with batch emails, just to kind of let you know, so with the batch email, you said Ellis is not a current person, but definitely has a cool function. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely something cool. Like I said, not something I use that often, but it's there. Definitely something to use if you find some case uses for it. But with batch emails, so with batch emails, like you can pretty much send a batch of emails to like all your clients or maybe all of your leads. There's different ways that you can send batch emails, but just keep in mind that it's not an email marketing software. Okay. So you don't necessarily want to use it in that sense. I wouldn't recommend it like you're using it like you would use ConvertKit or Flowdesk or something like that. But there are some case uses where you can use it. Maybe that you are just trying to reach out to all your customers, your past clients for a particular thing, maybe to follow up with them about something, or maybe you have like a special promotion that you just want to offer just to your past clients, you can definitely do that. HoneyBook has now, I guess maybe because of this case, that they have the batch emails, but they have just recently within the last month or so, they have added in onto their emails, which I'll show you in a second. But there's a button there that they have added where people can now opt out of like marketing emails. So I think they probably did that just because maybe the use of how people were using the batch emails and kind of not skewing the lines between sending out those promotional emails through something that the person didn't necessarily opt in to see. So, but they just added that. So let's just look at contact forms really quickly. So contact form. So contact form is basically what you're going to use to embed into your website. You can have multiple contact forms. So let me see if we have a template one here. Okay. This one is an application contact form. Let's make a new contact form. So you can create a new contact form. It's going to give you basically this shell, pretty much. Now, contact form, you can take this and you can embed it into your website. So this is how people are going to get into your HoneyBook account. And this is also how a starting place for you to be able to start automation on HoneyBook. And you can fully customize your contact forms, and you can have different contact forms for different things. So like for example, like I have like our main contact form, which we have embedded on our website. But what I also have done, like let's say I've done like a Black Friday sale for our websites before. I have a separate contact form that I had for our Black Friday one. I didn't want that built into our website, that I just sent that contact form to our email list to say, hey, we're having a Black Friday on these website projects for this week only or something like that. And so I can put particular details about that on that contact form, if that makes sense. And then also to give them a different automation for a Black Friday deal versus any other type of offer. So you can fully customize this. This is built out with these particular sections, but you can easily delete something you don't need. Like, so for example, let's say you don't need an address, you can hit the trash can and simply delete it. If you need to add any sections, you can click the plus sign between any of these sections and you can add it. So it gives you different things that you can do. You have questions. So these are things that, of course, that you're asking people, and it gives you different basically layouts that you can use. So like if you want to use two fills or single choice or a date picker, like when you want to start your project, you can do date picker or something like that. So let's say if we were to click on date picker, they can go through, and when this is like, if I were to put this into preview, well, yeah, it's gonna maybe publish it. Type of questions, let's put test. And then when it brings up the form, it's going to bring up the actual calendar. So, like, when do you want to book your project? And then they can just choose the date and then they can do that, right? It also has a way that you can add in content. So, let's say, for example, on here that you want to provide some information on your content, on your actual contact form. So, like, maybe you want to add a cover image, like maybe you want a picture of you or some type of image, or maybe you want to provide some type of text to let people know what this form is about. You can do that there as well too. And you can move these fields around. So you can simply just take these six dots over here and you can move it wherever it is that you want to move it to. Now, when you're ready to publish it, you can go to the top and you can hit publish, and it's going to give you like this embed code that you can go through and put it on your website. It even has Squarespace here. It gives you the instructions as well too, like if you have any problems doing that. But you can also go through and link to it as well. So it has like a different sharing option. Like if you don't want to embed it, you can link it. Like for ours, we opted to go through and just link it versus embedding it just because of the way that the forms looked. So the contact form is going to be ways like, so your use for the contact form is going to be ways that people can enter inside of your HoneyBook account. So how they can go through and start a project with you. Now your contact form, because it is, so for example, with our website, we have the contact form, we have the contact form for HoneyBook for inquiries, but then we use a regular Squarespace form when people just have questions because we don't want them in our HoneyBook account just for a question. This is for people who are ready to take action. So we just use a regular Squarespace form for people who have questions. So we're like, hey, if you have just have a question, don't use this form, use this form below. That's what we have done. So your lead forms. So your lead forms are a little bit different. Your lead forms are going to be, they're different, but still kind of the same. So your lead forms are going to be when you want people to go through and take action right now. And they are not necessary, they can take more action than they can on a contact form. So a contact form is really just a form. They can't pay through the contact form. They can't um, book anything per se through a contact form, but they can do a lead form. So let's say, for example, and what we've done with this, we were able to go through, because we also do like business consulting, we were able to basically ditch acuity scheduling because we can now do lead forms through HoneyBook, which is something they just came out with within like the last year. That now you can go through and so like for example, if you were to create new, and they give you different case uses that you can use this for, but just keep in mind you can customize it to do anything that you want it to do. So like one-time consultations. If you want someone to take an action right now, so let's say you offer website consulting, they don't necessarily have to fill out a contact form for you to get the email and then send the email to them with a booking link. You don't have to do that. You can create a lead form and create this one-time consultation. And if I were to click edit this template and create session, actually, let's exit out of here. I want to use this one. Why is it taking me here? We'll do it this way. This one is different. So you can put all the information here. So for example, I'm going to just keep using test. We're going to roll with that. You can choose how you want that meeting to be. You can put the duration of that meeting. So it's 30 minutes. I'm in Eastern Standard Time Zone. You can create that session, or you can pull from a session that you already have on your calendar, create the session, and then you can put in all of those actual details. So now let's say it's $100. You can ask them for all the information you need to put in. So you can ask them for their name, their email address. They have to at least have their name and email address on here for you to be able to go through and basically have them as your HoneyBook account, but also too, so you can send them out the link. But if you don't need phone number, you can edit that or you can change that. Anything that you want to ask them before this session. And then you can title the form. You can decide on if you're going to send out confirmation emails, if this is automatically going to be sent to an automation. And we're going to save and preview this form real quick. Okay. So this is the form. So like when they get this form, you can have this link on your website or whatever, or send them the form. And someone who wants to book a website consultation with you, they can go through and they can go here and they can take action immediately. So they don't have to fill out a contact form. They can choose the date that they want to schedule their meeting. They can put in their details. They can hit next to get to the invoice, and then they can go through and they can pay it, and now they're done, right? So that's a benefit. That's the differences between the contact form and lead form, and basically like the case uses of how you can go through and use that. So let's talk about, I'm going to go over to, well, since we're kind of on scheduling, let's go talk about scheduling. So scheduling allows for you to be able to go through and have it where you can go through and book your client meetings. So if you're doing discovery calls, you can go through and have a scheduler for that. If you have team meetings, you can have a scheduler for that. If you have website review meetings, you can do a scheduler for that. So here it allows for you to be able to create multiple schedules, and you can toggle them on and off as you see fit and where they're not available. And you can also add new ones. So like if you were to add a new session, you can again choose that session type. Is it a phone call? Is it in person? Is it video? And when you choose video, that's when it's automatically going to be hooked to your Zoom if you have that integration, or if you have like Google, right? So let's choose Zoom, just put client meeting. Again, you choose your time zone, just going to choose something, the duration, the session type. Now, also too, another thing that you can do, you can choose your session colors, which is something, just an extra little thing, but it's not all that important. But what you can also do is you can also choose, this is something they just created new, is that you can use your meeting date as a project date. And so I'm gonna go over automations in a second, but this is gonna be handy just depending on what you're trying to do with your automations, that you can possibly, this will be helpful to you. So you can toggle that on, toggle it off. You can also go through and send out the reminders. So you have like your email reminders, your SMS reminders. You can put in all your availabilities. So you can, it's automatically preset to this, but you can easily customize this. If you're not available these days, you can change this. You can add days that you want to add. So you can add whatever it is that you want to add, and it will be customized. And you can even customize this confirmation email, automatically send confirmation emails. You can allow rescheduling, cancellations, and everything, right? So this is very beneficial. Again, something that you can do inside of HoneyBook, and another feature that just allows you to be able to like really streamline your processes are pretty good here. So that's that. So I'm going to go into, and if I have any questions, or I'm going too fast, just let me know. But if you have any questions, let me know inside the chat. But one that is very, very important is going to be your template. So when you're going through and you're first setting up your HoneyBook account, I let you know that setting up your settings and your company settings and your branding, that's important. That's one of the first things that you want to do. But the next thing that you want to do is to set up your templates, okay? So set up your templates. I do have a free template for you guys. It's our, you can download it from our website. I can give you the link for that. I'll put it inside the chat here. But you can download that template. It looks, did I upload it in this test account? I don't know if I did. Yeah, I did. This is what it looks like. And this is what we use for, and of course you customize it. I did a video to show you how to go through and customize it. You will obviously remove the video when you're ready to use it. But Pretty much with this one is that this is the brochure that we use. So this is our brochure template. So if you like to go through and showcase like your services to people in inquiry, so basically what we've done is that when someone goes through and they submit an inquiry, that we automatically send them out this brochure to say, hey, thanks for submitting this inquiry with us. Here's a brochure of our services. Basically, please select the services that you're interested in, book your calls. So this is what this is. This is called a smart file, which is basically multiple files that are in one, right? So you would be able to go through here. You would put a description of, picture of yourself, description. Of course, you can edit all of these sections. And then you can put in your service offering. So this allows for someone. So if someone were to get this, they can go through and simply select the service that they want. And it's going to automatically put this in basically like a checkout box here, right? So it's going to add it here. Now with this template, as well as how we use it, is that we have made this optional where they don't have to select a particular option only because there's other options that they have like add-on services. So we have that where it is optional. We don't want to like completely box them in to say, hey, if you don't select something, you can't move forward. But we just want them to be aware of the prices that we have. So we have it optional. If they select it, great. If they don't, that's not a problem as well. But what happens when they do select it? Once they do select this, is it makes it easier for us on the back end when, let's say, we do this discovery call with them, we do our proposal, we can basically generate a draft proposal based off of what they selected. So HoneyBook will draft this proposal for you to say, hey, this is what they selected, automatically drop that into that proposal. So it makes it easier for us. Now we're not having to go through and do a little bit extra work. So this is free. You can go through obviously and customize it. We just put testimonials in here. And then it also has where we have some final details of some questions that we would like to know prior to working with that person. They can go through and book their discovery call. So they would select that option and then they just hit submit. And that's pretty much how that looks. But why are templates actually important is because, again, it helps you to be able to streamline your processes and not have you do everything from scratch. So HoneyBook does have a template gallery that you can use. So if I were to click on this template gallery, there are so many different things that you can use. So they have it broken down between type and they also have industry. So each I always kind of go for sometimes the ones that not necessarily are in your industry. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't have to necessarily be in your industry because you can customize them and make them all kind of fit for you. Kind of like Squarespace templates. I mean, you can kind of make them all what they are. So, but you do have your types. So let's say you're looking for a template that has contracts involved. You can select that and it's going to pull up those contract templates. So the contracts that you have now, you can simply go through and copy and paste those templates, those contracts that you have, and you can copy and paste them into this and just format it for HoneyBook. So make sure you include, your spaces and stuff like that. If you need things like invoicing, you can select multiple options. Again, with a smart file, it allows for you to be able to put multiple things together. So like, let's say we look at this one here, which is the consultant proposal. This one here is telling you that it includes services, a scheduler, invoicing, and pay. So if I were to just click on a preview of it, this is what this template looks like. So just imagine if you go through and you're sending this to your client, right? Like, especially if you're not using anything right now, instead of having nothing, or instead of having maybe something maybe you designed elsewhere, you can have everything housed into this one place and you can still present your work and what's branded to your business. And you would just, of course, put your own content, your pricing, you would put all of that in there. But they can do all of this in one go. Like this one has a questionnaire, consultation questions, and then they can go through the last step, schedule their call, and they're done. And they've done all of this literally without you because you basically can set up an automation to have that done. Okay, so templates too, do your email templates. You have email templates, packages that you can add inside of there too. So you can definitely do that. I'm just going to show you guys really quickly automations because that's like another one of the big things that people like to know or know how to do. So inside of HoneyBook, you can basically, so let me go back really quickly, is that you can go to and you can start automations through basically three different ways. You can do it from a lead form, which we covered, a contact form, and you can also do it, add someone to an automation manually. So what I was talking about before about going through and setting up the automation based off your different project types is that you can go through here and you see like how we have business consulting. Again, this was from another demo of makeup. You can go through and select what type of service offering you have associated to that particular automation name. So when you go inside of automation, you will basically go through. So this is based off a contact form, which is the one that we have selected. You can do this based off, you can send automations and start them and customize them any way that you want. So you have basically, you can send an email, you can create a task for yourself. So maybe you don't want to do anything first, maybe you want to create a task, or even down the line create a task where you're having to go through and maybe make sure they answered XY question, or create a task that they sent over a logo or something for you. You can also send it with a file, even a smart file, which I covered what the differences were with the smart file, or even you can start automations from even moving things through pipelines. So the possibilities are really endless as far as what you can do with automation. And there's so many different starting points and triggers and actions that they have added to basically enhance this even more. But I do want to go through and answer your question. So I'm going to stop there. But I would like to answer any questions that you may have.
Kenniqua, I just want to say this was amazing. I have a little to-do list for myself now. Like I'm seeing ways that I should be using HoneyBook that I'm not. So, um, just the automations that you just covered, especially with the new ability to customize that pipeline, like there's so much I can leverage there to take tasks off my like, oh, I need to remember to send this email because now I can do that with a customized pipeline. So, so
Yeah,
cool. I also was thinking about the when you showed the different project types because I just do web design for HoneyBook. Um, but I have two different kinds of web design projects that I do. I have a custom build and then I also do a template build out. And I was like, oh, if I set those up as different project types, then I could have totally different flows for each one. So just
absolutely.
genius. Thank you so much. So we'll hop
Oh,
over to the Q&A and I will read these off to you and let you answer, and then we'll just move to the next one. So first off, with the new basic tools from Squarespace, do you ever see yourself changing tools to keep all things in one place? So Squarespace just rolled out an invoicing tool. You guys, I mean, I know Kenniqua has a take on this, but I'm going to tell you my take is that you can't even get a contract signature in that thing yet. So it's nowhere near what HoneyBook offers. But I'll let you answer too, Kenniqua.
yeah. So I think when they rolled out with the first, I can't remember what the first thing they rolled out with, and I think I clicked in it, and it was just, it was a no for me when I clicked in it at
Hmm.
first. And so when I saw them rolling out with other things, I thought it was a cool thing, but not something that I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch for. So that's my take on it. I haven't played around with it as much, just like I said, those first initial clicks, and I'm like, no.
I think they'll definitely, Squarespace tends to like roll out things really quickly and then add features. So I'm sure they'll be adding features to it, but I can see it would take like a few years to get anywhere near what HoneyBook offers. So um,
Yeah,
I certainly, I do like the idea sometimes of having things under one roof, but more importantly for me is using a tool that saves me time and is efficient and does its job well. So I'm fine with using other platforms if that's better. So it's another
absolutely.
question from Tony here. Would love for you to break down what you think are HoneyBook essentials, then share some of the advanced features. I kind of feel like you did that for us, but I'll let you weigh in here as well.
Yeah, so if I were to say the essentials are definitely going to be, and advanced features are definitely going to be the automation, because I think automation is key. I think that if you have HoneyBook and really not using the automations, then you're not using it probably to its highest potential. So definitely automations is going to be key with HoneyBook, and then integrations and probably the scheduler will probably be like my top things that I would say. And then I didn't even get a chance to really go over like, but there's a lot of possibilities with lead forms. Even you can sell digital products now through HoneyBook using lead forms. I mean, it's so much that you can do that obviously we can't cover all in just one session, but it's so much. But definitely the top one for me would definitely be automations.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm not leveraging as well as I should be right now. And especially with that now the pipeline customization, I said this before, but like that opens up a whole new world of being able to really leverage those automations like you showed us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next up, a question from Megan. If we have HoneyBook synced with Gmail, does that impact the out of office message? Will that only go to people who come through HoneyBook forms? Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question. My understanding is it's only going to impact the people that are coming through HoneyBook forms because that out of office is basically in HoneyBook. So Gmail won't know that you're out of office. So you still want to set up your out of office inside of Gmail, but this is only for when people are sending in that inquiry through your contact form that they get that out of office message.
And I love that they've added that because before, and I actually, for so right now I use Squarespace forms for my initial lead. And after seeing how you're doing it with the embedded HoneyBook, I'm trying to decide. There are a few reasons, like pros and cons for each. But one of the things that I have to do is I have to set up a Zap. So if they submit that form and I'm out of the office, I have a Zap that emails them back with an out of office because it's coming from the Squarespace form email and not their email. So
Okay.
it's,
Mhm.
yeah. And so I love the thought of just having, like, I don't have to do that anymore if I'm doing it all through HoneyBook. Um, all right. Yeah. And Megan says, thanks. Wanted to be sure people didn't get two out of office messages. All right. Next up from Ella. Profit and loss reporting, time tracking, and profit and loss tools plus QuickBooks is a big question I have about how to best leverage HoneyBook plus other app tools.
Yeah, so we use Wave, so we used to use QuickBooks, but we don't use that anymore. But you can connect your QuickBooks to your HoneyBook account. I do know that they are enhancing their HoneyBook finance section, like on our actual real account that we have with HoneyBook. Like they have like we have a HoneyBook checking account, so and a debit card. So now you can see even more, and it breaks down. You can split your money into different buckets and split your money up there. So they are enhancing that. I know that's not available on all the accounts at this moment, but you can connect your QuickBooks and you can see all of your options all your financing through your QuickBooks account the same way. But they you can still see the projects that are coming through, even if you don't connect QuickBooks, you can still see like your reports and financing and stuff like that. Time tracking, you can time track through HoneyBook and you can time track it from a project level. I personally don't use that, but you can. I still use Toggle, but you can every time you go inside that project, you can put in your time to the project if you would like to.
Yeah, I also use Wave for accounting because it's free right now. I think they're going to be changing that up, so we'll have to take another look at
Also,
like Wave versus QuickBooks. But yeah, Wave is great. Right. Thanks so much for answering that. And then um, had a hard time sorting out and customizing template how to separate out add-ons versus package pricing in the same smart file.
so you can create different sections for it. I'm trying to see how to separate out add-ons versus package pricing. There is so you can separate the two by creating a different section for it. So trying to see, it's like even in the template that we have, you can do that as well. Trying to see about. because it should pull in if you have your if you inside of your if you have them already set. So it'll probably be easier if I'm looking at the screen here. It'll probably be easier if you have them set inside of your templates and your packages, and you create new inside of those. You should be able to put all of your services and add-ons all into that section. I probably would have to see exactly what it is that you have going on, but you should be able to put them all into that section and on your smart file be able to add them in different sections. Because like ours, we have the services and then we created another section for add-ons. So I probably would have to see it to see exactly what's going on that one.
Okay, next up. Can you talk about the difference of setting up services versus packages? Sometimes I feel it's not super clear where, how to set up a service, especially if I need to update a smart file.
It would be all in that. It would be all in that same section. So under your templates, if you go to templates and you go to packages, you can put your packages into that particular section and you can outline them there. So it has it where you can add in the items and then you can also add in that actual that new service that you have in that section. So you can put the package if there is a package because mostly they're the same. So you can one could be a package and then the other one would just be a service, but they all go in that same section. So
And
when you're going through and you're adding them to your smart file, you can click on them or you can add them as you go. But I personally like to re-add them and then click on them as I'm adding them to the smart file.
I added a link in the chat to Kenniqua's free HoneyBook smart file template. So if you go to the freebies page on her website and scroll down, you can sign up to get that from her there. And then last question, Kenniqua. I was wondering if you could just tell us about your services for helping web designers with their HoneyBook setup. Because after this, I'm like, ooh, maybe I just want to have somebody else do this for me.
Yeah, sure. So I actually have it up on my screen. I'm about to say I can share my
Mhm.
screen. Oh, so many tabs open. Where am I?
While you're doing that, I just want to say, like, your expertise today has been amazing. And so you're going to be my go-to for all things HoneyBook in the future. I really appreciate you taking the time to walk us through just sort of those um, more advanced ways of leveraging HoneyBook to really save us even more time.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, I think I'm sharing that screen. Let me pull it over here so I can actually see. Okay, so these are some of the services that I do offer for HoneyBook is for website designers or anyone really for HoneyBook, any service providers. But we do offer full HoneyBook setups, and this is pretty much where if you're new to HoneyBook or you just need a complete overhaul of your HoneyBook account, this is where we go through. We help you set up input your branding assets your scheduling. We do set up for your workflows, your email templates, help you customize your proposals, automation, and much more. So we do that with our HoneyBook full setups. And then we also do HoneyBook VIP days. So if there's something where it's like, okay, I need to get this done quickly, we do 4 hour HoneyBook VIP days where we'll do it for you. So this is where you would give us a list of your HoneyBook tasks and to say, okay, I need to get this done, this done, and this done. And of course, we do go through and approve to say, okay, we can do this amount of tasks in 4 hours. If it's something that we know that this cannot be done in 4 hours, then we let you know. But we'll take on as many tasks that we know that we can do for you in 4 hours and get this done. So with this service, it's not necessarily based on the deliverables, but based off the time. So we're giving you 4 hours of dedicated time to get your HoneyBook done based off of what you need. And then the last thing is the HoneyBook audit. The HoneyBook audit is going to your account to see how can we help you leverage HoneyBook more efficiently. So we go through your HoneyBook account, we go through your templates. We go through, like someone mentioned about the pricing and add-ons and things like that. We go through your HoneyBook account to see, okay, how are you using it? And these are the areas and recommendations that we would give to you for actually getting this complete. Now, this particular service is where you would DIY the implementation of it. We would just give you the recommendations. So we would do a video and I would give you all the recommendations as well as have a written version of the recommendations. And then you would basically DIY the implementation unless you want to move forward and say, hey, well, we just want you to do it for you. Then we will, that price that you pay for the audit goes towards your full setup if you do it within a 14-day window. So we don't make you do the audit and say, hey, you still got to pay full price. Like, so no, that goes towards your actual full setup pricing. So that's what we have to offer. We are going to be coming out here within the next, I would say sometime this quarter, second quarter, is our HoneyBook course. So we'll be coming out with a HoneyBook course to actually allow you to be able to DIY it and cover everything that you need to know as far as HoneyBook and create more templates for you as well.
I am so excited for that. I will definitely need to sign up for your course. And the HoneyBook audit looks amazing as well. So thank you for sharing those.
Oh,
I mean, everything from a full setup to like you want to DIY it. Here are some things you can improve. Love that. And we did have one more question before, if you have just a couple more minutes, Kaniqua. I know we're a little
sure.
bit over time. Okay. Um, is it necessary to have a third-party accounting software? I was hoping to do it all in one place. I do like having the ability to sync to a bank account. Does HoneyBook allow that?
You don't need a third-party accounting software. It really just, I guess that would just depend on. So we use Wave because we also do things outside of HoneyBook,
Mhm.
because I also sell courses, and so that's not inside of HoneyBook. So if you're doing all of your business inside of HoneyBook, I don't think you would have to do all of your accounting in there because it inside of HoneyBook it does have an option where you can list out your expenses as well. So
Mhm.
the things that you're paying for, like your website or other services that you're paying for, you can put those inside of that. So all of that could be done inside of HoneyBook. But if you're getting funds from, and obviously, I guess if you're getting from some other places, you can add that to HoneyBook as a line item too, but we use Wave for that. So you don't have to. We do, and like Christy said, Wave right now is free, so I don't see why not, but you don't have to, if that kind of answered your question. And your bank account, you do sync basically your bank account to HoneyBook, so when you do get paid, that it will go to your bank.
Amazing. Kaniqua, I can't thank you enough for this walkthrough and thank everybody who came to hear the webinar today. I hope you got as much out of it as I did. I learned a ton. So thank you guys so much. And I'm going to drop the link to Kaniqua's freebies one more time here in the chat to finish this up today. So thank you all so much for coming. And Kaniqua, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye.